You don't need more leads. You need a better way to convert the leads that you have to paying customers. This is what's crucial, and this is what I think a lot of people miss about when you're creating content, when you're creating ads. You're getting leads, you're able to pay to get people to actually have interest in your product, but you're not setting up the correct system in order to convert them to paying customers. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact system that I've set up for other people and how it helps you convert your paying customers over to leads. And I'm going to walk through each step and what you need to check at each step. If you have any interest or any questions, you can drop them in the comments and I'll reply instantly to them and help you out. So this is the what I like to call a sales funnel. And a sales funnel means a few different things to a few different other people, but what it means to me is when you have a contact that comes in that's interested in your product, whether it's from ads or content, what's the process to get them to go from a lead to a paying customer? So for instance, in this case, the customer was getting leads from a few different sources, but mainly it was ads in this case. It wasn't content, not as much content, and it wasn't cold outreach. It was only from ads. So when those people came in from their landing pages, and once all those landing pages were set up, we were getting the ads and we were putting them directly into the CRM. Once they were in the CRM, we had a few different automations. So the automations would either send them a follow-up email, send them an email based on what they're interested in, and try to get them to sign up for the product. So this was a fintech SaaS, so the process might be a little bit different, but overall, what you're gonna have is you're gonna have sign up, put in your CRM, try to enrich them, try to convert them over to a paying lead. And how do we do that? So once we are able to have an automation, putting UTM codes, tracking them through the CRM, where they're at through the CRM, we're able to set up sales processes to get them to sign up. And then once they're signed up, we are able to track where they ended up in the process, whether it's a failed payment, whether it's a trial expired, currently subscribed, and we're able to track that all the way through the CRM. So let me just go down here and I'm going to go through this whole thing. Don't worry, but I want to go over the whole process, and I know there's a lot of things going on, but I want you to focus on these green blocks real quick. So this is the whole process that I like to set up from start to finish, and this is something that you should set up in your business if you're doing content or ads. If you're doing cold outreach, this is not going to work as much, because really when you do cold outreach, you're going to cold outreach, follow up with them, and then get them to book a call. So you send them a link or something like that. Typically, you don't have them click on a link, go to a landing page, read through the landing page. You're doing all that through cold email. So first of all, it's going to start with content or ads. And content or ads, they're a little bit different in the way that you're going to bring it in, but overall, that's where the flow is going to come in from for this sales funnel. So basically what's going to happen is when you get content, when you get ads, you're going to send those people, typically with ads, they're going to go directly to the landing page. And the reason why they go directly to the landing page is usually your ad is referring to a specific type of downloadable content, a specific type of form, whatever, or a specific result. That ad is typically going to go to a landing page, and that landing page needs to have a VSL on it. So sometimes with the content, you might have, the reason why someone clicks is because they go to, let's just say, some sort of content or some sort of free resource. So in a sense, your flow can sometimes look like this, where they go from content to a free resource and then to a VSL landing page. So basically, once they download that resource, it automatically converts them over to the VSL landing page to see if you can convert them to book a call with you. So once they get to this VSL landing page, and we'll go over specifically what needs to be on that VSL landing page, but overall, I'm going to make a whole nother video on this, but overall, you want it to be a standard headline talking about specifically what you're going to do for them, sub-headline, kind of emphasizing what the major headline is with a little bit more detail, and then a VSL. Obviously on this page you're going to want proof, you're going to want a VSL, you're going to want a headline, and then you're going to want any other information that you think they're going to want to do. Typically what you want is the VSL to cover everything on the landing page, and then the VSL is just you going over what exactly is going to happen after they sign up for the product. And I can make a whole nother video on how to create a good VSL and what creates a good VSL for your end for your users to convert them. So once they go to the VSL landing page, they're going to then submit a form. Once they submit the form, and it's very important to, when you're setting up a sales funnel, for this to have some sort of friction, but not over amounts of friction, right? So you want to make sure that people are actually converting, but you don't want everyone to convert, because you want to add some friction, especially when they're coming from ads. You need to have some sort of friction, otherwise you're just going to be booked with calls every day, and they're going to be like maybe half of the people you're going to qualify. So I'm not going to worry about this block for this moment, but I'm going to get back to that. So once we get to the form submitter, you're going to figure out if they're qualified or if they're unqualified. If they're qualified, then what we're going to do is we're going to have them, or we're going to try to book a call. So we're going to have them book a call, and if they book a call and they go through the whole process and they're qualified, then we can have them send them to the thank you page. If they're not qualified, if they're unqualified, basically you're going to try to downsell them. And I think at this point it might make sense just to be clear enough to actually do this. So I'm just doing this in real time, so I apologize. So let's do here, and then let's do here, then let's change this from here to there. Perfect. Okay. So I might need to move this down just a little bit. Perfect, right there. Not ideal, but anyway. So once they book a call, then they will be qualified, right? And then this qualification is going to be, obviously they're not going to be, if they're not qualified, ideally you would have your form maker be able to spit them out. Sometimes people's form maker, like Typeform, can't really do that. Sometimes it can, sometimes it can't. But if it can't, then you're going to qualify them afterwards. If they book a call based on the answers they put in the book call. If not, you can qualify them before. So then once you qualify them, you're going to send them to a thank you page, which is pretty obvious, basically saying thank you for, submitting a form, look forward to talking with you. And it's super important right here that you have your booked call or a pre-call flow. And before the call, you want to make sure you have some sort of video sales letter to show exactly what's going to go over the call, all the pertinent information regarding what you're going to talk about the call, basically everything possible that you can cover before you get on the call that you would typically cover. And the reason for the video is you want them to kind of know what they're walking into, how it's going to operate, how you operate, how the whole system works. And then once you get on the call, you're kind of just handling objections at that point, right? So I'm just going to move all this over just so it's a little bit clear. So let's just move this over. Perfect. This over. Perfect. All right, let's actually do this. Qualified, then book a call. So we'll just assume that you can qualify them before you can book a call. So once you book a call, you're going to send them to the sales funnel. If you get on the sales funnel and they're unqualified, you can send them back to the unqualified flow, basically, and see if you can downsell them. Sometimes there's things you can downsell people, sometimes there's not. It just kind of depends on, obviously who the person is and what they're interested in. So once we get that, we're gonna once we get on the sales call, there's only two things that can happen once they get on the sales call: either they buy or they don't buy. So if they do buy, we're gonna then put them to the onboarding flow. If they don't buy, then we're gonna send them to the follow flow. The follow flow can be emails, can be another call, all that stuff. But at this point, they're just gonna sit in the follow up flow forever until they finally buy. So the way this all works is, and what you need to have also in conjunction to this is a few different email flows that you want in conjunction with this. So as soon as someone visits your landing page and they send you a form submission, you either want, and I'm just going to make this a little bit different because you want these people to go here as well. So if they're coming from content and they submit a free resource, you want to go put them in the welcome flow, right? The welcome flow is basically going to say, hey, thanks so much for downloading this. Thanks for viewing this, all this good stuff. Hey, here's a bunch of free resources. Here's a bunch of people that you've helped out. And I can go through this flow later on. You also want to, this is a really good thing, is as soon as someone sends this form, you want to send a video if they complete the form. So if they complete the form and they fill it out correctly, you want to personally literally take out your phone and send a selfie video and just say, hey, thanks so much for joining. Please, if you have any questions, let me know. Book a call, and I'd love to talk to you then. As soon as they do that, it's awesome, because then what you can do is it's going to incentivize them. It's going to increase the likelihood that they go to the next step, which is qualifying them or not qualifying them. So if they go into qualified, it would be also good to send another video. Oh, actually, I'll just do this. To send another video. Now, that might be a lot of work. However, think about this. If someone's qualified and they are here, it's the highest, most excited they're going to be. So if you send them a personal video and then send them the VSL on this thank you page to watch, they will definitely watch it. So as soon as someone's qualified, send them the video, and then they will hopefully book a call as soon as possible. And then once they book a call, they're going to go to this thank you page, right? Once they go to this thank you page, you're going to want to make sure, or once they're in this section right here, what is it called? You want a pre-call flow. So you basically want to also, this is another email flow. It's going to show different results. It's going to have the VSL in it. It's going to have different maybe resources that you give out for free. Try to entice them, because basically you want to just show, hey, we've done this before. We can help someone out, all that good stuff, right? And you don't have to be doing millions of dollars to set this up correctly. This can be set up in a weekend, and it can be something that can be done relatively quickly. If you watch up to this point, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for watching. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to send me a chat in the comments below. If you've watched up into this flow, or if you watched until this way in the video, I promise in the future I will get better videos. However, I'm starting a school community. Now the school community, it's obviously small. I'm just getting it started at this point, but it's called Funnel School. And if you join this Funnel School, there's literally nothing in it. And it's $15 a month, because I want people to actually be invested in learning and earning, right? So in this school community, I will be hosting calls weekly, walking people through building out this funnel. If you would like to join, and if you'd like personalized help, go ahead and join this. If you do join this, I personally will give you the $100 million Alex Hormozi book for free. I will give you a code to join that. And number two, I will also give you the Alex Hormozi ads playbook. And this will be a PDF download. I'll have to scan it and I'll give it to you, but that's something I will do for free. I will also be in here answering questions on a daily. So if you need help, I will do everything I can to help you and get the answers to your questions. Now, back to the video. So once we're at the sales call, you want to have a post-call flow. And this is after the sales call, so it's kind of like, here. But after the sales call, so I guess it's like this post-call flow is going to be here. So after the sales call, you're going to want to have a post-call flow. And this post-call flow is going to be a little bit different depending on if it's a follow-up flow. And it's, once again, it's more information about how great they are, what things they can expect, all that good stuff. If you can, using AI to grab the information from the sales call, it's great if you could add that information to the post call to basically use custom information to send emails. The other way you can do this is, if they do buy, you want to send an onboarding email, and it's basically like, hey, thanks so much. Because once they purchase, this flow right here, this is your highest leverage point. Once they purchase, they're going to be so excited, right? They're going to be like, jumping up and down, so excited to join. If you don't take advantage of this, if you don't have anything prepped for them, if you don't have anything exciting, they've just made a huge dopamine dump. If they don't have that, they're just going to basically already be downtrodden. So if there's anything you need them to do, jump on that right away. Okay, so now I've talked about the flows that you want. So you have onboarding, and then you're going to have a downsell flow, obviously. Let's just talk about metrics for all these flows. Oh, let me just actually wonder if I just do a line. Perfect. This might be better. Oh, that didn't work out at all. Perfect. Just do a line. Okay, perfect. I'll figure that out later. Okay, so let's just talk about where we want to be with these. So there's a couple constraints you're going to come across, and there's really 4 major ones, but there's a bunch of little ones that you're going to also see. So this one is not actually a constraint, it's just a comment. So some constraints. Traffic. You might not be getting enough source flow into this block right here. So that could obviously be a blocker. The other one could be the cost per lead is too high. So keep in mind, ads guaranteed reach, whereas content are going to guarantee that it's cheaper, right? However, you cannot go viral with content much, especially if you're using content. It takes a lot more to go viral, and ads are just easier to scale. However, it's important to do both. Next thing is the landing page. This is the second big point. A lot of times your landing pages are not clear. The headlines are not clear. There's not enough information on the VSL. So this is if people are getting on your landing page, but they're not submitting a form. They're not clear. There's not enough information on the VSL on the page. There's not enough proof, social proof. There could not be enough VSL. There could not be a VSL if you don't have a VSL, or you don't have like any type of other letter, any type of slide deck, that could be hindering you. And then, or the load time is super slow. So for instance, if you go to a page and it just takes forever, that could be your issue. Another issue that people think is the form. It could be too strict, or it could be not filtering enough. So you can either have one or the other. If you're getting a lot of people to book calls, and they just get on a call and they don't even know why they're there, it could be a lot of factors. But if you're just getting people that can't even afford your service, I would say number 1, put your cost here. Don't ever scare away from your cost. But number 2, make sure that you're also filtering. So by putting the cost, you're adding filtering, but you're also kind of showing people that are willing to buy that, hey, they're good, so you're not filtering them out. Okay. Another constraint is booked calls. So that would be right here. So it'd be like this section right here. So, they either they submitted the form, but they didn't book a call. So, it could be lukewarm leads. It could be people not interested. It could be people that just kind of forget what you're even about. It could be inconsistencies. Typically, it's this. It's not enough information, though. If you don't have enough information, they won't book a call. But just keep in mind, this is number 1, this is number 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Okay, so show rate. Let's say you have a low show rate. Typically, this is the pre-call flow, and this specifically, it could be your VSL on your confirmation page. So if your thank you page doesn't have a good VSL showing exactly what's going to happen, also your pre-call flow, so SMS and VSLs, or not VSLs, or your email, people won't follow up. And also, if they're not qualified, they're also not going to show up. So the other thing is sales. It's not clear enough. Let's just say that you don't have clear enough proposition. They haven't watched the video. They don't know what you're even selling. They can't buy it. All that stuff. Typically, you're not being clear enough. You're not able to close. You're not able to show why this is actually valuable. Okay. Now, let's get rid of all this crap. Okay, perfect. So, what do we do? What are some percentages that we need to look at whenever doing this pre-call flow? Whenever doing this. So, the first thing that we need to do is we should look at percentages. And half the battle is once you get all this set up, you're going to have a lot of data that you're going to be able to use, which is the best thing. If you don't have data, you don't know what's wrong. Okay. So, basically, you need to be trying to get a click-through rate of 3.5%. So you want people that see your ads to click it. 3.5% is the golden star. Now, if you have, let's just say 2, but also, your dollars, per customer is, let's just say, a customer is $2K and it costs you $500 to get a customer. It's not terrible, but it could be a lot depending on if that's worth it. If you have the $2K, and then they're at $2K a month, that's not bad. right? And they stay for 6 months. So that's $12,000 and it costs you $5,500 to get it. It's not bad. But if it's 500 for every 2K, it's a 4 times ROAS. It's not great. The next thing is you want to make sure that you're getting clicks. So what's your cost per lead? So basically, once how much does it cost to get someone to click on your ad? You want a click-through rate of 3.5%, but how much does it cost you? If this is going above $10, you're screwed. If this is like, you kind of want it between $1 to $3, right? That's kind of where you're ideally at. Okay, next is your form submission. So right now, your percent, you're going to get a percentage for how many people go from this stage to this stage to this stage to this stage. So these are those percentages here. But basically, you want to get this to about 10%. So people that get to this page that fill out a form is about 10%. So you think about this, you're already at 3%. So for every 10 people that land on it, you're only going to get one person that actually submits the form. So if your cost per lead is $3 over here, it's going to be $30 for one person, which is not terrible. Could be better, could be worse, but just to keep that in mind. Like I said, half of the battle here is actually even knowing your numbers. Can you get someone from this side all the way to this side? And how much does it cost to get someone here versus here, right? Ugh, that's a terrible dollar sign. I need to get something to write. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is you're going to want the percentages. So basically, what percentages are going to be qualified versus what percentages are going to be unqualified. Which qualified people book a call versus the people that don't book a call. And like I said, if they don't book a call, it's probably going to be lukewarm leads right there. All right. Let's just delete all this. It's not what I want to delete, but okay. And then the next is you want a show up rate or a cost per qualified meeting. So basically you want dollars here, or sorry, not dollars there, dollars here, and then dollars here. Perfect. So there's 4 places you're going to want dollars. So you want people about 70% to show up. This is definitely doable if you have all the SMS and stuff like that. And then once you do the show up, you want cost per customer, and then how many, what's the time basically to someone that completed the form. So what's the time from someone to go from here all the way over here? What's the time? In engineering, we call that a delta T. What's the change in time required to get someone to go from there to there? Ideally, you want to be closing about 30%. With cold or with ads, typically it can be 10 to 15%. So if you're around there, I wouldn't worry about it. But I have seen people get up to 30%. It all depends on how much friction you put in your form. If you put a lot of friction, you're going to get less people on the call and you're going to be able to close more people. Okay, so those are the main information you want, and obviously you want the percentage here. So what percentage is going to go onboarding versus follow-up. And that's it. So those are the main numbers. This is the main downsell. Like, this is your CRM. Really what you want is you want to make sure you have a few different CRM statuses. So this is obviously for a SaaS, but basically you want a contact, a lead, a trial. So a contact might be someone that signed up for a free resource. A lead might be someone that actually submitted the form. A trial is someone, and this can be different for, let's just say, book call, churned. Let's just say you have something that goes on and on and on. And people churn out of it. If not, you wouldn't have this. You would just say not customer anymore. And then you have customer. And then between this, you want to have follow-up. So a lot of people are going to try to make your CRM flow way more difficult than this, but it doesn't need to be any more difficult than this. If you have a more complex CRM than this, then I would say you are going too crazy, because a lot of times you can just tag these people. Let's just say they're a customer and they came in from from a content or ads. You would just tag them. So you want that person to just be tagged throughout your CRM. Anyway, so this is my first training. I'll be doing other trainings throughout the rest of forever, about how to set up a sales form. If you have any questions, feel free to send it below. I would love to help you out with this. If you do not have any, if you don't have any questions but you just want to support me, feel free to join my school community. If you want to work with me, right now I'm giving out 10 hours of free this sales funnel build out to you for free. So typically I would charge about $5,000. I am trying to grow and I'm trying to get people on board. If you'd like to work with me, I'm willing to give you 10 hours free for the first 10 people that do that. And all that I ask is that you actually have a product that you're already selling, and that you actually have a product and that you're using ads or content to get those customers. If you don't, then it probably isn't something I can help you out with. I'd be happy to have you in my school community, but most likely I wouldn't be able to help you out there. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message below, and hopefully we can talk again soon.